it's Kevin and Chloe here at Gonro Games. She's looking old. How come you're looking so old? You got more white around your eyes already, Miss Chloe. You're not supposed to get old. You're supposed to stay a young puppy. See, it's hard for me to keep up with the other dogs. They're crazy. Huh. We're still doing good, though. Going for a checkup in a few days to see how our leg's doing. She's limping pretty bad, so I think we need to get another shot. And hopefully the osteosarcoma has not progressed and we're still in the clear with it. But anyway, let's talk about the good old Pokemon that I have been working on here. And this is just like I said, I had a person reach out and want to buy $1,000 worth of packs, and had a lot of other people reach out that want to buy single packs. So I'm going to try to beat market price here for my patrons, for people who want just Pokemon packs. But this was mainly breaking down the trainer's toolkits and a few of the, what do we call these things? The auxiliary products? I don't even know what to call this sort of products when they come with the EXs or the box sets. I think that's usually, yeah, the Lucario V-Star, the premium collections, those type of things. So let's talk about that, because there's a lot of similarities. Let's actually go and by my throne here. We'll sit down next to my Pokemon. I'm building a tower to heaven so that God can get angry and change the languages so people can quit buying so many Pokemon cards. Oh, you brought it upon yourself. Anyway, so where was I going with this topic? So Pokemon is really, really starting to remind me of right after Champion's Path into Pokemon Go, when the market crashed, after the massive boom during, what do we even call it, the COVID, or was it more the Logan Paul days of the Pokemon craze? And a lot of people think that this might be a stronger market. I'd actually argue that that market still got to a point that this market has not been to yet. So that's how quickly people forget about the Pokemon market, how quick it can turn, how it can go from such a dismal market to a booming market and back to a dismal market in the blink of an eye. And I think we're approaching some of the levels during the Champion Path era. So one thing that I noticed today when I started to check distributors, I seen if I could still get any of these trainers toolkits, because if you look at the pack prices, trainer toolkits are by far the worst way to get packs. They usually cost about a premium. Typically the box sets, now there's been some price increases, but typically throughout when I've been doing this for years with Pokemon, if you go the booster box route, it ended up being like $280 a pack when you bought from distributors. But you were always limited to the amount of booster packs you could buy or the booster boxes you could buy. And then the next bang for your buck would have been the booster bundles. And then after that, the elite trainers are the next bang for your buck. And then after that is like the box sets. And once you're in the box sets, you're around $315 to $327 to $335, depending on the box set. That's the price per pack. Because most people just care about the packs. That's the sad thing about Pokemon, is no one really cares about the premium box sets. There are people that will buy them. They are just casual people that just want to pick those up. But the vast majority of people in this Pokemon market and the last Pokemon market really were just after booster packs. It was all at the rush of opening the booster packs. So all those auxiliary products, the majority of them, I would assume, are broken down by stores just to get packs. We would do that to, as I said, even though the best thing for my buck would be to buy booster boxes to fill our acrylic dispensers. Let me just show you what I'm talking about, the acrylic dispensers. Hey, Buttons. How's Buttons doing? We got a wild Buttons that just came and bit my butt. I don't know what's his obsession with that. But anyway, so what we would do to fill the cases here, the acrylic dispensers, is, even though this is the best route to go, if we're limited and we can actually sell the booster boxes at a higher premium, the best route to go to fill these things would just be to break apart those auxiliary products. And as you can see, I filled like 3 trash cans, I think, today of breaking these down. And they pile up too. And one thing is that Distributor, they want you to take these sort of things if you want to get booster boxes. So to build up your Pokemon numbers, a lot of stores have to buy a lot of these type of products. And the only feasible way to recoup your capital is to break it down to packs, because these things are a mess to ship. So yes, it's great if someone locally comes in and buys one of these and pays. So like I said, there's a little bit of a premium of how Pokemon does is about, I don't know, $3 to $5 more per. So the pack price is like $285 per booster box. You slap on like $3 to $5 more, and that's like the cost of the premium or of these auxiliary products. And so like I said, it's not the best way to break them down to get booster packs. Of course, if all the stores would love to have just ample amount of booster boxes to be able to fill up those dispensers. This becomes the most economically feasible way because the booster boxes actually do sell. These things don't sell. We can't actually sell these things online without having to eat huge shipping costs because, as I stated before, Blooming Waters is massive. And some of these other ones are quite big too, like this V-Union Celebration Special Collection Pokemon. I believe it only has a few packs in there. And so most of the time the market, I've noticed too, will settle on these packs being, or these products being worth the pack values. So the pack value, they basically come down to whatever the market price of the packs are going for is what you can get off of these products. So again, it creates a situation where the only feasible thing is just to break them down for packs. So that's what I'm doing. Anyway, so where was I going with this discussion? So for the last couple of years, even though booster boxes, I'd even say during the Scarlet and Violet era, have been hard to get at like release. So Scarlet and Violet 1, even Paradox Rift, Paldea Evolved, they had limits at release, but then distributors always seem to have more in stock and then you could buy them. And you could actually buy the vast majority of booster boxes and Elite Trainers from the Scarlet and Violet, or from the Scarlet and Violet era, all the way up until Temporal Mastery started to really drive that craze in Pokemon. And then things started to dry out. But even just a couple weeks ago, I was still able to buy things like Stellar Crown and SNV1, so base set. And even things that, what is it, still Paradox Rift, the worst one? After that, I don't know, they keep leapfrogging each other. I can't understand what makes a set actually become collectible all of a sudden compared to other sets. But anyway, I digress with that. So booster boxes, of course, were the first thing to dry up. So when we've gotten that hot market, they were gone. I could no longer buy booster boxes, and it was frustrating for quite some time because the cost of some distributors are all the way up to like 102 without fees, and if you tack on like the distributor fee and if you're incorporating like PayPal fees and things like that, by the time I can actually sell something to a customer, we're looking at like 105 a box for booster box. And I think the MSRP on Pokemon is supposed to be like 164 or 161, somewhere around that price. So it was dismal to try to be able to buy when there was Pokemon product available, booster box and Elite Trainers. They were going for under market. So the TCG player market and Amazon and eBay market were all selling boxes for 92 all day long. And I remember there were some blowouts from distributors, and we're all kicking ourselves. That's what on the Discord we had a discussion thinking, oh man, I wish we would have bought all these products. Like the people were looking at specific products of these box sets, and they're going for a lot, like 40 bucks a piece, 50 bucks a piece for them, because as I stated, the pack value of them started to reach heights to where that product, of course, has to go up because they always are going to match them. So these trainers toolkits, for example, I was getting these for cheap. I did a video about them. You can see what I probably paid for them. I wish I would have got more because these actually have a Evolving Skies in them, and the Evolving Skies is now going for about 20 bucks a pack. So I think these were like 40 bucks on TCG Player, but it was still made more sense to break them down and get the packs out of them as not to deal with finding a buyer for the Trainers Toolkit, as well as not having to worry about the added cost of shipping. It's a lot cheaper to ship a pack than it is to ship something like this. It's bulky, and these are actually reasonably heavy for, I mean, if we put it on the scale without the packs, these give you additional pound of shipping weight for just these Trainers Toolkits. So anyway, booster boxes are the first thing to go. Elite Trainers were not that far away, and then I woke up today and checked to see, okay, after this project, I got some space here. Maybe I'll start stocking up again on if I can find some cheap products that can be broken down. Because even packs like Paldea Evolve is like $3.50 a piece. Temporal Forces are $4. And as I stated, if I can get these from distributors for the pack price about $3.15 to $3.27, then at that point it starts to make sense, and we're starting to run low too. We're getting a lot of people that I've never even seen in my store before come in and just purchase like 1 or 2 Pokemon packs. So that's a hot market. And I asked one of them, a guy that actually collects a lot of Pokemon, and he says all his coworkers are in on it now, that they have no clue about Pokemon and they have joined in the craze. So I mean, it must be hitting mass social media. I'm not the most immersed in like mainstream social media, so I don't know what the trends are, but apparently Pokemon and opening Pokemon packs has hit mainstream if people that have no clue about Pokemon or maybe dabbled in the past a little bit in their childhood are now crazy about buying Pokemon. And I can tell you that's my demographic. It's like 40-year-old men coming in and buying Pokemon packs. That's the main people that are walking through my door and buying like 4 or 5 of them, of just kind of the thrill of opening them up, and they're even buying binders and things like that. Anyway, I'm really sidetracked with this. I'll try to get this back on topic here. So, woke up today thinking I'm going to restock on these type of products, and lo and behold, they're gone. Everything is gone at distribution level. There is nothing, not one distributor that I use. I think actually there's some the dog. There's one recent EX box that is still available, and they have a limit on them. We're not talking about 2-pack blisters are gone, the sleeve booster cases are gone, the trainer's toolkits are gone. Everything is gone from Olive, Scarlet, and Violet and Sword and Shield era that you could have bought you could have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with the distributors, no problem. They would have had that much in stock. And I am just blown away by how quickly this market has been able to eat up all of that product. I remember like less than a year ago, maybe it is a year, I think it was last spring, when I was looking at TCG Player and I was looking at Chilling Reign, and there was something like 7,000 booster boxes, individual booster boxes that were listed on TCG Player, and all of them were around the $3 mark. And I just thought to myself, man, there's no way that Pokemon is be able to recover from this. There's no way that amount of packs are going to be able to be stripped away within a year. I thought it would take years to actually strip those away. And you would have to, of course, people wanting those type of packs from the Chilling Reign era. But I should have seen the writing on the wall. Like, again, I'm kicking myself because there was good sales back then. There was like, 18, 15 packs sold per day. And even though there was thousands listed, that eventually those are good numbers. It means that Pokemon was still robust. So anyway, woke up today, tried to restock a bunch of this stuff, realized it's all gone. Went to TCG Player, looked at the prices of all the packs, and like Chilling Reign, $8 a pack. It's just absolutely absurd at this point how much things are going for. And it really reminded me of that era with Champion's Path of also some of the things I started to see. Do you know that bulk? I remember bulk around the Champion's Path era, like bulk Pokemon cards were going for $25 per 1,000. I don't know, was there some sort of repack market for just Pokemon cards? We're talking about any old Pokemon card was going for like, between $20 and $25 per 1,000. Of course, that didn't last, and it went all the way back down to, I don't even know what the going rate for Pokemon is now. Has it ever gone lower than like $6 per 1,000? I think that's the lowest I've seen it, but yeah. So even Pokemon bulk is something that might, I think that is our next like jump, is when we see like the products now. So distribution is low. That means all the prices of these sort of auxiliary products are starting to go up. And what's next? Is it going to be anything related to Pokemon? Is just going to start to be purchased because people can't find affordable packs, and then that makes the market again for the bulk Pokemon, for the people that repack the Pokemon and all that kind of stuff. Because it's just absolutely crazy if that's going to happen. And again, we've been through this market before. I'm trying to like draw parallels between Champion's Path and warn everybody of how quickly that can turn. Because Champion's Path had the same thing. I remember the Vivid Voltage booster boxes hit like $300. The ETBs were $100. You couldn't find Champion's Path. When Champion's Path came out, you couldn't find anything. I remember at a point, distributors even ran out of things like the battle decks that don't even have booster packs in them. And I think that'll be our next jump and our next sign, is if distributors do completely sell out of those products. So I'm looking at the distributors that I use, and they all do still have those products. But yeah, it could be just a matter of time before anything Pokemon related is just eaten up. And there's some crappy products right now in the ecosphere for Pokemon. We still have those Academy decks that are pretty bad. They just have some really, really basic pre-constructed decks with no value in them. We still have the Classic Collection, which if you are looking for a speculation that might pay off, because I still remember when that was announced, people lost their minds, and it was pre-selling for quite a bit for that Classic Collection. So Classic Collection is this big box up here. I don't know if people can see. I've got a massive one. My camera doesn't want to focus on it. There's these huge boxes, and they reprinted the Classic Collection, so the Charizards, the original Charizards and stuff from base set, and made a Classic Collection. And charged a huge premium. I still believe they cost me like $235 before fees. from distributors, and most distributors actually make you pay for shipping because they are incredibly bulky. And I noticed like the Charizard is going for like $100, but there's a big drop after Charizard to like Venusaur and Bulbasaur, only being worth like $15. So it's been a while before I think there's any sort of justification to buy the Classic Collection. And I do like to kind of rub my thumb in it, or rub people's noses in it, that, what's the expression? I can't think of the expression here. My mind is rotten from opening up so many Pokemon products today. But anyway, that Pokemon doesn't reprint things. Well, that was a massive reprint, reprinting the OG cards. And I'm actually still surprised that Charizard can go for as much as it goes for. So apparently if you break down the Classic Collections and are able to sell, because there's a lot of cards in the $5 range, and there are actually a few in the $7, $8 range and a few in the $10 range. Apparently if you break down the Classic Collections, you can squeeze about $300 to $325 in value of cards that do sell. One or two of them, of most of these cards, sell per day. We're talking like the Mews, you start going down the Pikachus, the Snorlaxes, those type of cards that are iconic. They do sell 1 or 2 copies a day from the Classic Collection. So it'll be interesting going forward to see if those start to dry out, because I remember when they were announced, distributors were limiting to like 1 per account. And I like maxed out all of my distributors. I think they got me like 2 each, most of my distributors. And I couldn't even find buyers, because by the time they showed up on my doorstep, the market had already been so saturated, and people realized that, this thing was not worth the $300 to $400 price tag. I think the MSRP for them was $399 is what Pokemon expected the Classic Collection to go for, because there's thousands of dollars of cards being reprinted. But again, if you reprint something, it just, everything, if you make a sealed product, Pokemon is no exception. If you make a sealed product without booster boxes or any sort of variants in them, the price of it can only go for what the single prices on the markets are going for. Otherwise, people will crack them until they find an equilibrium. So that's what kind of happened in the Classic Collection. So if you are interested in Classic Collection, that is one of the things that is still available at Pokemon. But anyway, this is kind of a long, drawn out, ranty, not really ranty, but long-winded, that's kind of the word I'm looking for, video, as I build my shrine of Pokemon Trainers toolkits. Still trying to decide what to do with these, because everything's still included in them. I used to use these as shipping boxes and like break these down and try to sell the singles and the sleeves. And the sleeves actually can sell between like $2 to $6, no problem, even on like the Amazons and the eBays. The dice can actually sell, these dice sets. These not so much, these poison and burn counters. But the entire Trainers toolkits, if you can find a buyer too, I've seen these go from anywhere from 10 to about $10 a piece, which actually adds the value if you can actually find them. I think we're going to put them here for players. I don't know, maybe I'll try to run an event for people learning Pokemon and be like, okay, just start with a Trainer's Toolkit, or maybe I'll let them fill a Trainer's Toolkit with 4 booster packs of their choice. Of any of them that are, in the $5 range or $6 range of Pokemon packs, and then have like a set price for a Trainer's Toolkit. Like, buy 4 Pokemon packs, get a Trainer's Toolkit for free. I don't know what I'm going to do, because again, it's all about kind of squeezing out that little bit of value that you can find. And the same thing with these things, these tins, where again, they barely go for more than the pack price. So it's pointless to try to sell them for a like sealed when you can find buyers for packs a lot easier than you can find buyers for just these chests. But yeah, so same thing with that. If you are interested in tier your Patreon, I think $5 is probably what I'll let these things go for. They still, like I said, still have their promos in them and their stickers and all that type of stuff. I don't want to get buried in them. As you can see, I've done this before. It takes all day to break these down. Again, time is money, and I realize that. So a lot of people don't account for this when they think they're going to start like a Pokemon store or selling out of their basement or whatnot. They don't realize the amount of time that actually goes into this sort of thing when you get stuck with these type of products and have to try to eke out some sort of profitability out of them. Last but not least, and maybe we'll do this for another video, maybe I'll give you a little teaser. I think we're in such a bubble, not just Pokemon. Oh, that's the other thought that I was going to finish, is the last thing that I noticed during the bubble of Champion's Path was secondary games started to sell like crazy too. So the My Hero Academias, what was out during that time besides Metazoo? There are a few other ones that were released during the Champion's Path era, and all of those spiked up as well. So people couldn't buy Pokemon, and that whole craze of I'm going to flip cards, like as I mentioned earlier, the guys, coworkers now, that have nothing to do with Pokemon are all trying to open up Pokemon packs to flip. And that's how it was during Champion's Path too. I used to make fun of all these people. There were some people in our area that ran a YouTube channel and had a little vault, and everything, and used to come in and pay MSRP for Pokemon packs for their quote-unquote business. And of course, they didn't last. They haven't seen them in years. They used to come and buy a bunch of packs per day. But anyway, I'm starting to see that sort of crowd again. And the last time this happened, other things started to spike, like Wise Swords, like My Hero Academia, like Digimon. And so now we're in the greatest sign that we're in a bubble, because guess what's back, folks? As I have to reach in the top shelf. Metazoo's back. It's officially back. They have revived it. It is under new ownership. And I just got an email from the manufacturer, since they still have me on a list, that I once upon a time carried Metazoo at the store, and reached out to see if I wanted to create an account and buy Metazoo. So you know when you're in a bubble, one of the ultimate pump and dump, I don't want to call it a scam, and I don't want to like rub people the wrong way, because I do legitimately think that there were people that were into Metazoo and enjoyed the game and had fun with it. However, let's be, let's call a spade a spade. Let's be honest about here. Metazoo was just a massive pump and dump that was feeding off of the Pokemon craze that people tried to, they tried to sell it as the next Pokemon and get in. Well, don't you wish you would have gotten into Pokemon before it was expensive? And of course, it could never hold. Those type of games are dead on arrival unless they have actual crowds that want to play them, people that want to play them, that actually represents the supply out there. And Metazoo, of course, had 1/500th of that, where the vast majority of people that are buying Metazoo, cracking Metazoo, everything had nothing to do with the game. So you know we're in a bubble when the Metazoo is back. Anyway, long video today. Let's go ahead and get this sucker uploaded. I'm going to go home and go to bed. Thanks for watching.